Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Welcome to Club 120. The ultimate roundtable for diehard Cubs fans and lovers of all things sports and lifestyle.
Strike three, you're out.
Hosted by Neil and Nate, two former baseball players and coaches turned loud mouths with strong opinions and even stronger banner. Get ready for quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and the occasional heated debate. From analyzing Cubs on-field action to diving into off-field drama, no topic is off limits. So grab your glove, pour a drink, and pull up a seat at Club 120, where the banner's quick, the takes are hot, and the Cubs always come first. Let's get started.
Play ball.
Hello, Cubs friends. It's 120. You know what that means. It's time to grab an old style. Pull up a bleacher seat. You're in Club 120. Let's talk Cubs. I'm Nate, and with me as always is a man who believes the only untradeable Cub is Clark the Cub. Neil, what's on today's lineup card?
Oh man, there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack here. We just finished giving up batting practice to the Kansas City Royals today, so looking forward to the next series. Bit pack show though. Wrigley versus everyone is our first topic. Then we're going to move on to dueling aces, and third topic, do something cool, Jed, and then guts or numbers, and trust your stuff. And then we'll round it out with our topic of the week, which is what's in the brew. Something is going on in Milwaukee, and we have to figure out what it is. So Wrigley versus everyone. Man, you know, it started off the series. I'm talking about Kansas City, obviously, but, you know, no one brings it like Wrigley does. Unfortunately, we dropped 2 out of 3 at home to Kansas City. Just didn't get it done, man.
Yeah, it's disappointing when the home team doesn't put out a product, but the home team's fans deliver every single night. And the reason I say this and the reason we're leading off with this is because as we've now begun scoreboard watching, unfortunately, I've been watching a few more ball games around the league. Nobody. It doesn't matter who's in town. It doesn't matter who's playing. Nobody's rocking full stadiums these days, which leads me to believe Major League Baseball might have a real attendance problem. I feel like we live in a bubble and we're blessed, right? But I guess the best question is this: when we look around the league, are we the only club bringing it as fans every single night?
Yeah, you know, and I don't think it's just a Major League Baseball. I mean, ultimately, it's Major League Baseball as a whole. But you know, I most of you know I live down close to Louisville, and the iCubs are in Louisville all week. And I had some buddies go over and watch the iCubs last night. I didn't get to go, but they were sending me pictures, and the minor league baseball stadium's empty, and the people that are there are Cubs fans. Yeah. Like it's unbelievable. And you hit the nail on the head. Like we do live in a bubble and we have no idea how good we have it. You know, and I would say 90% of the time that it does help the team's performance. It is a thing where the guys feed off the energy of the stadium. Guys like to play there, but I mean, obviously we didn't get it done this week, but you know, I think the attendance and energy in Wrigley is there on a postseason level on a Tuesday in July.
Mm-hmm. You can't really get this environment anywhere else, which leads me to the next question. How could you, once you've experienced it, want to play anywhere else? So when it comes to factors of keeping current players or going after free agents, when everybody talks about how great it is to be a Cub, and you got to at least play for them one time in your career. People have said that. A lot of pros have said that. Like, is this really a factor, or do we really believe in ourselves that much? Are we that much of a factor as fans in how these players perform and want to be a part of something like this, regardless of record.
Yeah, I think you and I have talked about it before. Like, I think Cubs fans are a gold standard as far as team support. Now that can also be a cancer too. I mean, days like today, you need to stay the heck away from Twitter, or you might want to jump off a bridge. But like, I'm in all seriousness. Like, I think Cubs fans are the gold standard. Like, how many other fan bases? We've talked about this before. How many other fan bases know who plays the corners on the infield of the AAA team or the AA team for that matter, or who's pitching today for the iCubs? Like, how many? I can't tell you how much I saw today that Owen Casey was 5 for 5 yesterday. Yep. Like, you go to other fan bases and stuff, they're not talking about some guy in the minors who, hit 2 doubles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just something special. I think a lot of ballparks need promotions and dollar hot dogs and dollar beers and things to get fans there. Cubs just need a Tuesday.
Yeah, and a chance to win. And right now, it seems like there's that's a tough one to find right now coming out of the break, and finding some consistency from a winning perspective. There are a couple things that are leading us in that way, though. We've got a couple of aces, Neil, that are really dueling and giving us an opportunity anytime that they toe the rubber. The question I have for you is very simple. Can the Cubs win a postseason or any series with Shōta and Boyd, or without Shōta and Boyd? How would you like to combine their benefits? And
I would say, when you're saying series, are you talking postseason series?
I mean, at this point, we're playing a series.
No,
right?
I think we're showing today that we cannot string a series together where we don't throw both of them. And that's, you tweeted today, and I think that's like, I think I can't recall the exact words, but I think you were like, okay, please help, Jed. Like,
it's time.
Yeah, like it's time to make a move. It's time to get something done. Yeah. Like, because I mean, Boyd and Shōta, that's it right now, man. And when Tyone, if Ty, I don't know what Tyone's injury looks like, or even if he's healthy, I didn't have confidence there. So
he wasn't giving us. Quality starts were there, but but also he was trending in the wrong direction prior to. We're waiting for Cade Horton to be a number 3, which he's flirting with it at times. But as much as I love the kid, he's still learning on the job. So let him learn. He shouldn't have the expectations of winning series for us. That's why it kind of frustrated me coming out of the break of how they set this up. Now, I think in the end, it's going to mean that we get Shōta and Boyd in Milwaukee. But I thought there was a way more straightforward way to just come out with them right away, and take care of Kansas City appropriately. But we didn't do that.
And again, this is maybe we're all idiots, and Craig's playing checkers and we're playing chess, and Craig looked at this and thought, I need these 2 guys in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I come out of the All-Star break and line this up so that these 2 guys throw the series in Milwaukee?
Sure, but you did the math on that, though. I coming out of the break, as I was bored sitting there, I did the math. If you just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including off days, they throw games 1 and 2. Right now, they're going to go throw game 1 and 3. So they've gotten creative enough to at least get 1 and 3 in there. And maybe that's the strategy. Maybe Horton is in the middle of that, and you go 1, 2, 3 technically.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. And I also think it was a little bit of, not knowing if Boyd's going to throw the All-Star game or not. I think that was a big part of it.
He needed some time, man. Look, he came back. He's fine. He's not the problem right now, right? Either of these, the dueling aces aren't the problem. It's when we deploy them that seems to be the issue, because we can't seem to connect anything as far as wins together unless they're part of that series. And that makes it a very long week for the Cubs when those guys don't throw the chances to throw twice.
Let me ask you this before we go on to the next topic. What do the Cubs need from the rest of the rotation to stay competitive until there's a move made?
You got to compete in the zone. It seems like every free pass is scoring right now. So you just have to compete in the zone. And if we get beat up, we get beat up. But it seems right now that any guy that gets on first base, as far as a free pass, whether that's a walk, a hit by pitch, or an error, he's going to score. So that's it. That's it. Just quit giving away free stuff, and we'll be all right. Ish. We should be okay.
Right. All right. Do something cool, Jed. The Cubs fans want action at the trade deadline. Will Jed deliver? There's all kinds of rumors out there. Keller, Flaherty, Alcantara, Eugenio Suarez, Cabrera. I saw there's one I'm missing. But what's realistic and what's a fan wish list?
Sure, it seems like the wish lists are, I don't know, what's the best way to put it? You said it yesterday. Why has there not been this much activity? And that's what I'm wondering. So I don't know what's a wish list and what's real, because it seems, besides last night, where I saw that the Cubs had a large scouting contingent in Miami to watch Edward Cabrera, outside of the Keller deal that almost was, the Mitch Keller deal that almost was, the Cubs haven't really been linked terribly strongly with anything going on. And it seemed like that was just a swing and miss in the night, and now everything's silent. And maybe that's what they wanted, because maybe somebody leaked it. They thought they had that Keller deal done. Somebody leaked it, and now somebody wanted to back off. Like, maybe we can get more somewhere else. I don't know why we don't have any more substantial activity right now, because quite honestly, if I'm a lot of these teams and I'm staring up at my division, even though I'm 4 games back of the wild card and all that, there's really only a few teams in the major leagues that have a chance this year. And let's be really clear about that. And you can't be that stinking team if you're still doing this with 60 games left. It's just going to be that deal. So let's make some deals. I want some deals. So Jed, do something cool. We do have the coolest locker room. We've got the coolest set of toys. So what would it take right now? Can you give me one name right now, just for you? Let's just look at your wish list, Neil. Give me one name that you wouldn't balk at any prospect package that it took to get him.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of deal. Like I said, to me, we talked about untouchables. There's not many left that I like. I'm to the point where, like, you got me here, you got me to the table. Now feed me. I'm ready. Like, we're this far. Last night I went to bed. We had the best record in baseball, and it's like, let's go, because other teams are going to make moves. So sure. I'm at the point where, I want one more bat and I want one more starter. And then the cherry on top would be a bullpen arm.
Okay. Well, there's one that's pretty straightforward, and maybe we can just dive into this. Why isn't Eugenio Suarez not a Cub yet? Is that straightforward? That's the straightforward question, because I would ask that to Jed right now. Why is he not here? Because he can't be anywhere else, because if he's going to the National League, we're screwed, because he's going to hit 6 of them in the playoffs against us.
Okay. But I wouldn't have said this 2 months ago. I'm going to say it now.
Okay.
Matt Shaw's a better third baseman.
Okay.
So are you willing, Matt Shaw just hit a home run today. So what is that, 3 in the last 4 games?
You met 2 or 3. Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know, man. That one's getting further and further away for me.
Have you seen the tear that Suarez is on?
I know, but like, gosh, he's not a good defender. So
he can come out in the 7th inning and once he's hit for the last time, and Matt Shaw can bunt in the 10th if we have to have him do it. Okay.
Okay. No, that's what this is for.
Where else are you going to do the bat? If you want a new bat, where are you going to put him?
Yeah, that's a great question, because it depends on what version of Seiya Suzuki you're going to get. The one we've had for the last week, or the one we had in the first half of the season that should have been an all-star.
I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
That one I'm not worried about. There's only one spot to do it, unless you want to have a discussion about one of the favorite sons, but let's give him I know. But at third base, it's an opportunity, and it seems straightforward. The other one that I'll tell you this right now, and then we'll move on. There's 2 names. The Edward Cabrera deal, that's a good one. But for me, there was a tweet that went out last night that hinted that Joe Ryan could be available. You're just going to have to wow him. And I'm interested in wowing them, because now we don't have to wait for a number 3 this year. We don't have to wait for a number 3 next year. We don't have to. I mean, now he's your number 4. If Joe Ryan's your number 4 next year because Justin Steele ends up coming back and is Justin Steele, my gosh, let's go. So that's all I'm looking for. My wish list is something that says now and later, not just now. The Suarez deal just makes sense now, but I still want to look at later too. Cabrera still has control. Joe Ryan has control. To me, Sandy costs too much. And the kid that shoved against us today, Lugo, he reminds me of Kyle Hendricks. And I don't know how much that's going to hold up in today's baseball October playoffs.
Okay. No, I get it. So you're not looking for something that's going to only help you win now. You want something that you can buy a jersey for.
Sure. Absolutely. I don't buy jerseys, but I think that's the mantra of the Cubs, isn't it? Right? We have to be conscious of both now and later, because if it was now, then we would have just kept Bellinger. We would have done 5 or 6 other moves, right? Just to go get some big name guy to be big name. We are not the Yankees.
I don't know. I think the Tucker move says now. Like, that's what we're doing that now. He's a 1-year rental.
Absolutely. I think you're right. But also, you can only do so many of those without having any capital left. So I think we're at that balance now. You say we need a bat. Okay, I don't disagree, but we got to figure out where he goes. The rest of it goes in the pitching side, which there's always plenty of innings.
Okay. So the next topic, this kind of plays into that a little bit as far as, making these moves. Does Jed go with analytics or does he go with his gut? Like the gut or the numbers. That's our next topic. Craig, obviously, when managing a game, leans very heavily on analytics. But there's a point where in my opinion, there's a point, no matter how analytical you are, you just have to trust your gut. You have to trust your instincts.
Yeah, it's one of those weird scenarios where you want the new school to help you out. And unfortunately, sometimes you just have to look at it and go, that's just not right. I don't care what the numbers say. But when you've built your whole philosophy on that, you have to sit there and trust it. We've heard Jed say it over and over again. We just want the guys just to get to their level numbers. Guys got to get to their level numbers. Everything's just going to even out. Well, statistically, that makes sense. But today, that doesn't. Statistics talk about probabilities over time. I'm talking about in this moment. And I think we miss those moments a lot as far as management is concerned of the baseball game. You've barked about it before. Go get him. This is not the time to do this, right? Like, go get the pitcher, go do this. And it doesn't happen. Now, I think we've seen a little bit more of it lately. Do you think that they're using some of the statistics to adjust that strategy within the season as a bigger picture? I'll give you an example, the new lineup changes that we've done.
Yeah, that's the other. I was going to actually kind of that was a text conversation that I was going to start with you is, do you think we're the only team or roster in the last 5 years that at one point has had the best record in baseball but has a different lineup every day?
Oh my gosh.
Because it's exhausting.
Baseball is funny that way because you can't necessarily, if we followed any other team, it would be the same thing because somebody's getting a day off inevitably, right? You know what
That's
your best
different
is. Right. But we've got to pull that back. Yes, the lineup changes, the leadoff hitters change, where they're going. There's no real set guys. And there's no real set rules either because we've got 2 second-year players. One's being treated like he's a superstar. No offense, he's earned it. And the other, who is also performing like a superstar, is being treated like he's a platoon player. And so it doesn't match always, right? The statistics or, hey, this analysis. Okay, well, if you look at the analysis, both those hitters are poor against left-handed pitching. But one's just given, okay, because you play this position, we're going to let you do it all day. So,
yeah, but it's, this is, where I said on this is an example to me where managing by when you get into late inning matchups and hot hitters, you can throw numbers and analytics out the window as far as I'm concerned. Those are instincts. Those are guts. Those are, who can I swing that bullpen door open and know is going to come in and get me an out right here. And we saw it. We saw it in the Boston series when he pulled somebody with I don't know, I can't remember who he pulled with two outs in like the 5th, and then he went and brought Theobar in with 2 runners on, and Theobald got the strike, got the out.
He
And
did
it was like,
yeah, he did it again the day after, 2 days later with Presley and Pomerantz. Same deal. Presley got in a jam, and he was like, all right, that's enough. So maybe there is. I hope that Craig starts managing like an old school baseball guy. Now, the statistics in and of itself, look at our offensive production. Okay, we can't balk at what's going on in the field as a whole statistically for the Cubs as they rank. But when it comes to giving them an opportunity to compete today, that's where, as you say, you got to throw those statistics out the window. And maybe that's the deal. Maybe we are trumping everybody because Craig's looking at the statistics saying, well, Michael Busch should hit 8th. And we look at him and go, Craig, you're a funny guy. And we LOL on Twitter and we rip him up and down. And then Michael Busch goes, for a yard ball in the first inning or the second inning. And he all kinds of mayhem breaks loose out of his spot in the lineup wherever he puts him. So maybe we are playing checkers and we're just watching some dude learn how to play chess right in front of us.
Yeah, and I think finding a balance between feel for the game and spreadsheets, you got to find that perfect balance, and numbers don't lie. So I get the analytics side, but they don't tell you who's locked in either. Like, there's no spreadsheet that's going to tell you that.
Absolutely not.
All right. Trust your stuff. There's a fine line between having stuff and controlling your stuff.
Speaking of locked in, right? Like, this is nice segue. That was perfect.
That's what I do here.
This is high quality content here. Listen, the bottom line is who's locked in and who's not, and we have a lot of young arms right now, Neil, that are falling into 2 camps, and it's really clear. And it's taken a pretty short amount of time for these guys to get there, because they all, generally speaking, were pretty much in the same boat ish heading into this year. But you take a guy like Ben Brown, you take a guy like Porter Hodge, take a guy who's had a little opportunity and hasn't gotten himself back up here yet, Luke Little, and they just seem to have all the stuff. They just can't control it. But then you flip the quarter and you got Danny P. Man, that's a huge one just to show the success of having stuff and learning how to control it. And that's the example that we're looking for here, because we called Ben Brown up this week, and let's just go right in on it. That just wasn't good. You're gone for a month and you look the same. And that's frustrating because it seemed to just unravel so quickly for him every single time. Do you think that there's ever a time where you can look at it and just say the stuff just never adds up, or do you just keep trying over and over and over again?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Like, I think the difference, to me, each guy's different and each guy has a different problem. Like, I believe that, Presley, for example, I feel like in his mind, he should get certain situations based on what he's done for me in the past.
Okay.
And not for me in the past, but what he's done baseball wise, like he deserves. And I just don't think that plays here. I don't think, I know it's not a Cubs fan mentality. The Cubs are very much the Cub fans are very much what have you done for me lately? Not, what did you do 2 years ago in Houston? Because I don't care about that. And Palencia and Horton, they have figured something out. They have figured out how to compete in the zone. They've figured out how to miss bats. And I feel like Ben Brown, you and I have talked about this before. I feel like his main struggle is when a guy gets on base. And that was the exact same issue now that he came back up. Runner on, boom, 2-run shot. Like it's I think you even, I don't know if you tweeted or texted me, inevitable.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even know what I was doing, but I didn't even see it. And then I saw 2-run home run and I was like, here we go. Like, what are we doing?
It's inevitable. Whether it's mechanics or mental, some of these things just aren't adding up for some of these younger guys. And the one thing that I'll tell them from the beginning as a pitching coach and as a coach from the beginning is just trust your stuff. You didn't get here because you had questionable stuff. You got here because you had ungodly stuff. I mean, you're under the age of 25 and you're expected to be doing this. You're here.
Yeah.
Just trust your stuff and throw it through that little white box. I know they can't see it, but I mean, that's really all they got to do. And you watch Danny when he gets out of that zone, you watch how fast he gets back in it right now. And that's what you're looking for. He throws one up and all of a sudden he's like, okay, right here. And then, with Palencia, man, trusting that slider, that's not a baby slider anymore. That's nasty. And he's throwing it not as a waste pitch. He's not throwing it to get me over strike anymore. He's using his weapons now. And man, that's a really, really, really huge thing for the Cubs here in the back end of their bullpen, especially as obviously with our starting pitching and the way it's going, it's getting a little thin.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And hopefully, I know we've beat this topic to death, but hopefully there's some moves coming in the coming weeks that solidify things on the bullpen and on as far as the starting role goes. All right. Topic of the week. What's in the brew?
What is in the brew? I mean, there's no reason for this at all. None of this makes sense. So what makes the Brewers so special? What makes them every year compete in a division and in a game of baseball where dollars equal wins and they don't spend them?
Yeah. So to me, this is a bigger issue than just this season, right? Like the Brewers remain consistent year after year after year. And, I think, I don't know if we owe him an apology or what, but, we let David Ross go to make Craig Counsell the highest paid manager in baseball. And to bring him in and to do what he was doing in Milwaukee all those years. And at the end of the day, I think 1 year later, a year and a half later, we can honestly say it wasn't Craig Counsell.
So do you believe that the Cubs could trade managers with anybody in the Central and have the same record?
Whew. I'm not so sure it wouldn't be better.
Okay.
I mean, I look at a guy like Terry Francona, like you give that guy our roster, man.
That's what he did in Boston, right?
Yeah, and that's it's hard to say. I mean, obviously that's a 100% hypothetical situation, so there's no definitive answer. But in my opinion, I don't think we're getting what we paid for at the managerial spot. I think what we paid for was the Brewers' recipe, and we found out that he wasn't the cook.
Was Pat Murphy the mastermind the entire time?
No, I think it's the front office. I really do. I think the player pipeline, the roster construction, the small moves that are behind the scenes. I think it has a Moneyball feel to it.
Well, they can't hit.
I mean, the manager's plug and play. Like,
sure, I think it seems to be the case, right? You got, but the one thing that hasn't changed since 2016 is Pat Murphy.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I still
they play, but they just actually went. They didn't go from another organization to bring him in. They just rose up through. So they promoted within. So really, the system hasn't changed. It's just like you said. It's who's calling the shots on the field as far as the lineup is concerned. Well, they got a good baseball guy there. Jeez, you want to talk about a guy that can handle a team that can't hit, that needs to do the small things the right way. Man, how about get a 40-year college head coach?
Yeah, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not hammering Pat Murphy at all. Like I think he's a great dude. I think he's a great manager. But I also think that if he were for some reason not able to continue tomorrow, they again just march the next guy up the ranks, and the same thing happens. Yeah. I think it's a systematic thing, and I'm going to say something pretty controversial, especially given the fan base that we pander to here. I don't think the Cubs fan base has the patience or the I guess patience is the right word, to do it the way that they've done it.
Well, I think that their goals are different, though. I don't think Milwaukee has on like goal number one written down, win the World Series. I think their goal is to win the Central. I think their goal is to get to the tournament. I think they have realistic expectations of what it is. The Cubs make one trade for Kyle Tucker, and immediately we're going to be World Series champions. There's different expectations here, and while we are wildly overreactive towards it, I think you're also equally right that we are equally not patient enough to watch players grow up in our system, i.e. Ben Brown, i.e. Cade Horton, watching these guys, and it's like they got to play now, which honestly, Neil, if you're competing for a World Series and that's your expectation and that was what you wrote down as goal number one, you really don't have time to wait for a 25-year-old pitcher to stop spiking curveballs and walking guys with 2 outs and then giving up a home run. You don't have time to wait for that. So you do actually have to spend if that's going to be your mentality. So at this point, what's in our brew is not the same as what's in theirs. And I think equally they have the ability to be powerful because look at what they're doing right now. Their system is in play and it's working. Now, we also have a system in play because what you just said is the same thing here. We could plug and play managers. So how much does the manager actually mean to a baseball club at the end of the day? Because players do have to play.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's we're going to have to debate that more later because we are out of time. But I will say I don't give a crap who the manager is. I'm keeping it PG here. But I think, what are we off to? We're off to, I say Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mm-hmm. We go up there and hand them something.
Well, we got to get through Chicago first, so we'll take care of that.
That's right. Yeah, we got the White Sox series first.
Well, I think it's absolutely. I think it's a good tune-up, though, because the vibes will be high in Chicago. Yeah. They're playing well. The White Sox are playing well. So if we don't bring it this weekend, we are going to get a little bit. But yes, take care of business and on the other side, on the south side. And then, yes, let's go north one more time. Take it to Wrigleyville North, and let's take this division and not look back.
Let's do it. Hey, that's all we got for this week. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hit that like, subscribe button. All social media platforms at Club 120 Show. Visit us online, www.club120show.com. We are out. Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs, go.
This has been Club 120. Neil and Nate have practically spent their entire lives doing something centered around baseball. And with these guys, you're going to get quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and, yes, heated debates. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, you can find us on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show. And, of course, the website at www.club120show.com. Until next time, go Cubs, go!